So I'll start recording now. So we got remoted into the computers. Let's see, logged in to Cali. And some of you have logged into your Greenbone Security Assistant or openvas. What I was curious if anybody tried to run the updates over the weekend.
Mod came through.
See, Riley's got his through, and so some of y'all, why don't everybody check under administration and click on feed status. There's no Bethany's is okay and Riley's is okay. Ricky came back. So under feed status, does everybody have the NTVS? Looks like some of y'all don't. So Aaron's running his. We'll so those that don't, what happens if you click on CVEs for those that don't have NTV? Cool. Okay, so down in your well, Aaron's still updating on his. Let's go back to scans. So if you look here under Alex, notice his aired out. Those that aired out, that y'all have a red and a blue circle. Click the little play button again. Yeah. When you click the play button again, it'll request and send another one, and we'll see if it errors out the second time. It probably will, but I just want to see what happens after it sit over the weekend. For the others, though, that it actually worked on, we may set up another scan. So that will be Bethany and Riley. Oh. Wait, I'm looking at Williams again. Williams is actually doing some scans. It didn't just air out, I think. Cool. I might get some type of little bit report, but yeah, Bethany and Riley, why did yours turn red again?
I don't know.
Oh, you clicked play. That's why. You aren't supposed to play one yet.
Just redo the scan.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to redo the scan. Since yours was working in the beginning, but it's okay. We'll let the scans complete and then we're going to add another one. It looks like that one aired out. That one aired out quick. Alex, why is this Alex's? Yep. So why is yours going? Did you get these updates on yours? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ran that this morning.
That's why yours is working. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, well, while we're waiting on some of the others, we'll have to watch Aaron's and he'll have to let us know when he finishes. So I think we can go ahead, at least Alex, Bethany, and Riley. I think we can go ahead and add another scan type in here. So if I go under scans, okay, so if we go under scans, well, let me mark Christians here. Did anybody else jump in? Nicholas Collins is still not here, so. Okay. Okay, so under scans, instead of doing the task wizard, I'm going to try the advanced task wizard before I go and create new configuration scenario. So this is a new task wizard that comes up. And check out the names of these scans that we can do. Do base scan, discovery scan, empty scan, full and fast ultimate, full and very deep ultimate, host discovery, and system discovery. So what scan type do we want to run?
Full and fast.
It's a default. All right, we'll leave it the default. On the target host, let's scan a Linux machine. Let's put in a 10.10.1.
How do you get to the advanced task wizard?
Click on scans and the wand will have advanced task wizard under it. So let's scan. Oh. Both of these systems here are Linux machines, a 37 and a 28. So this will only be for Riley, Bethany, and William. Well, I guess the rest of you could probably create the advanced task, and it'll fail until you get your signatures updated, and then you can just click the play button and have it scanned. So you can go ahead and everybody can create the task wizard. So just randomly choose if you're going to put 28 and 37, and I hope that we have a good random smattering of people, 28 or 37 there. And you can schedule the task to run at a certain time, or you can start it immediately. Or you can do not start automatically and just create it. Those that don't have your synced yet, you may want to click do not start automatically. That actually would probably be a good one to click, because you can wait until that you get the
We just sit at school. Why do we gotta do so many fucking Zoom?
what?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking to you.
Ah. Let's see. So yeah, what I would do is do not start if you're one of the but Riley Hicks, you can do start immediately. Bethany, you can leave yours at start immediately, but the rest of you do not start automatically. SSH credentials. Let's go ahead and put in credentials here. Remember I told you we did the first scan and it gave us a smaller result type. But this one we're going to do a Linux scan. We're going to give it, let's go ahead and give it root. I have to hit enter. Okay. And then not let me put a password in. I think we have to create that. Yeah, I'm going to go and cancel this task wizard. Let's go under configuration menu. So go ahead and cancel out that task wizard. And I'm going to try to do this in the right order. So let's see if my thoughts are correct. I want to do a scan against the Linux machines. They're a basic scan without giving it any credentials. While that's scanning, I want to come back in and configure credentials like the root account so we can SSH in, and then create an advanced scan that we can supply those credentials so it can log in and do a better scan and maybe get us a better report against the system. So let's do the wand, and let's do the task wizard, not an advanced task wizard. And let's go ahead and put the address in that we had before, the 10.1 dot either 37 or 28, and go ahead and start that scan. So it's not an advanced scan. That's just going to be a quick scan, and those normally do take 5 to 10 minutes to complete. So while that task is firing off and trying to scan, I want to set up some credentials that we can supply to the scans.
You said 10.10.1.28.
or 37.
Okay.
Once you get the scan going, then let's go set up the other scan. Let's go to configuration. You'll see credentials. It'll be the third one down. If you click that, it should build us. There's no credentials, but you'll notice that there is a page with a star on it because you've been good kids. You got a star on your page, like from elementary school. And click that. And we'll name this Linux root. Type's going to be username, password. I'm going to type in root, and we're going to type in pass 1, 2, 3, 4. With the capital P. And then just click save once you got that in. Let's create another credential for Windows machines later on. I'll click the piece of paper again, new credentials. Let's name this one Windows admin. And the username, let's type in administrator. Let's put an @ symbol and put csnt.edu. And the password's pass 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just save that. So now we'll have both administration credentials for our Linux machines that we want to scan and the machines that are in a CSNT domain that we're running in another class that we can scan against. I'm going to look at these icons here. We can trash them. We can edit. We can clone. Export them somewhere.
Is that a sheep?
That is a sheep.
Nice.
And does everybody know why the sheep?
Dolly?
Yep, Dolly the sheep. For the old people that remember the first cloning of a sheep. And the sheep's name was Dolly. That's why cloning, they all use a sheep icon. There's other, I think, VirtualBox has a sheep icon for cloning too. Let's click back on scans. notice my Linux scan's about 88% complete. Most of y'all other people don't have it synced up. Aaron, you're still syncing? Looks like Aaron's is done. Somebody else wants to do the gv-feed-update. You can run that command to get your syncing. Looks like William's going to do it. William Wortham. See if he gets that in there. Yeah, it's just gvm-feed. Thing. Hit tab key, see if it completes. Yep, hit enter. Okay, so here's the starting update. You can jump back to your browser now and build out this other task, and you'll be able to tell it to run whenever feed updates. So I've clicked on scans. I'm going to use the wand again and go to advanced task wizard this time. We're going to target, let's see, which one was I doing? I think I was doing the 28 one, I think. Y'all can do the 37 or 28, either one. So 10.10, 1.28. The ones that are still syncing, I would click don't start automatically. But now it looks like Aaron, William, Bethany, Riley, and myself, we can start immediately. The rest of you can click don't start automatically. And I'm going to hit the drop down on SSH credentials, and I'm going to click on the Linux root. I don't need the report emailed to me. It's just going to be placed into the system. And SSH is running on port 22. Just go ahead and click create. And for those that are having to wait, you should have a new task that will appear in your task column at the bottom. It'll take a few seconds, and you may have to scroll down once the page is updated itself. So you can see you have one that's sitting there waiting for you to hit the play button whenever you get your feed file synced up. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, the rest of the 4 of us, we're waiting for our initial scan to get done. And then we're waiting for our other scan with credentials supplied to it to get done. We're going to compare the two scans when they are finished. And this program is either a white hat program, meaning you're the system admin, you've known these credentials and stuff, you're submitting them, you're doing scans, and you're actively maybe doing this every month, every 2 months or so, and checking for vulnerabilities going into especially your host systems, your routers and switches and stuff like that, and trying to remediate them. Well, this not only will scan Windows and Linux machines, you can also put IP addresses of Cisco devices, HP switches and stuff, and have it scan against networking equipment.
Do I still need to update my Cali and stuff?
You'll have to do that feed update, but William's got probably 15, 20 minutes before his will sync, and then you can
Okay.
run your update. Right now, I'm just waiting on my quick scan to get done. And then the other one that's a little bit more advanced scan to get done. We'll likely have some problems with the Linux because it is CentOS 8, and I think it was around October of last year or something like that. Not sure the exact release date on it, but they've not been patched, to my knowledge, unless the later class decided to go in and run patches and stuff on them, but they were not told to. So they're likely not patched, and we'll likely have quite a few security vulnerabilities. I'm expecting to see red on the screen when it finishes. And not just red from not having the signatures updated. We use Metasploit framework, to create some exploits and break into the Windows 10 machine. But there is a web interface framework with Metasploit that still haven't got working on Kali yet, but it can do scanning similar to this. It's a little bit more, seems like vicious than this because it will not only scan, but also allow you to go further and break into the systems. Aaron says he keeps getting errors. Well, go ahead and click on like your last report and click and see read what the error is. It says error. Well, click on where it says immediate scan of 10.10.1. Yeah, click that. Yeah, keep scrolling down and see. That's interesting. I'm gonna take control of your screen for a little bit. No control. Like you're missing. That's odd, but your feed updated though, didn't it?
You need to set it to all the updates.
It could be I have seen where it just takes a little bit for the feed, before the database gets everything in place. So I'm thinking yours just kind of needs to sit and chill for a little bit for that to be finalized. There we go. That's what it was. It just took a while. Now you can replay and it should not error out. I'll give that about 2 minutes, see if it'll come to 1%. So it was just simply after the feed gets updated, it seems like it takes another 20 minutes before it gets the database indexed. Okay, so I'm looking back at mine. In my initial scan of the Linux system, I don't have any red. That's a good thing. It looks like Riley, Bethany, and Alex all have yours scanned. So I can see I can either click on the IP address, the 10.10.128, or the date of the report to bring up the report. Well, that's a quick report. What I want to click on the date here for the last report. I think that'll get me better info. So since my feed file's updated, I've got some stuff here, and the other three, Aaron's getting there, but let's check out what the results are. What has it found? So we have TCP IP timestamps are being generated. It's very low. Windows have the same thing. And then we have weak encryption algorithms supported. I'll click weak encryption algorithm supported and see why is SSH considered to be weak. AES 128 and 256-bit CBD is considered to be weak. There is the main problem while this is a medium. So there is an issue where that the CBT mode may allow an attacker to recover plain text from blocks of ciphertext. And here's the detection mechanism. We've got some references down here. And what is our solution? Disable the weak encryption algorithm. So what if I click the link? Tells me some information about it. Not anything really great. So if I wanted to try to get rid of that, disable CVC SSH CentOS. Let's see if they've got. So you can disable CBT mode ciphers and CentOS for security purposes. So I'm just going to investigate. As a security person, what that you're hopefully what you're hoping to become, might run into and want to do is doing something very similar to this, reading the security outputs and then looking up how can I get rid of ciphers. It says contact your vendor. As we can use SSHD-T to test the configuration and the capital T to show all of the current settings. And then somebody gives an example of adding this current line into the SSH config file, restarting SSHD to get rid of the CVD style ciphers. And if you want to be really secure, you could nix all the like 128 bits out of there and only use like the 192 and 256 bit AS. May even want to nix out the 192 and only keep the 256 bit style. Of course, that could break some clients if they don't support that top end. I'm gonna go back and look at my other scans and see if my one that I logged in is finished. It's not finished yet. 98%. We're coming up to break time, but I got a question before we go on break. We'll look at also what this other task brings up and shows us. And do we want to go in and try to mitigate that SSH and rescan it and see if that one vulnerability assessment goes away? Do we want to try to fix it? Crickets.
I would say no, because we're just it's on virtual, and it's not a real life situation.
Kind of slow. Well, actually, those systems are remote Linux machines that are running. We may wait till we may do the fix. I don't know if we'll do it today or not. We'll have to see how many Linux machines so everybody can maybe log into one and run the fix. But let's take a break and let this last scan finish. And then we'll see what comes back. So we'll meet back at 11, 10-minute break.
Okay.
That is also a good little break. Yeah, root and pass 1, 2, 3, 4. How did you guess my password?
We use the RockU test.
Oh. Okay, so I got logged back in. Before I start looking around this new task, I noticed it's 4.9, a little bit higher up there. I'm also noticing that the Windows machine is 5.0. It's even higher than either scan against the Linux machine that's not been patched since I believe October. I want to go ahead and do a full scan of the Windows machine, but supply credentials to the Windows machine this time. So let's create a new advanced task. And well, see, William, how's your update doing? Your updates probably should be done. Yep. So yours is done. Somebody else can run the gvm-feed-update. James would probably run that. Yep, cool. And William Wortham, your system probably, I don't know if it'll air out. It takes a little while for that once the feed is finished. I don't know how long it's been finished, but I guess you can try this next scan and play and see if it'll go or not. So this next scan I want to run. So I went to scans. I want to start a new advanced task wizard. We'll all scan the same system, 10.10.1.10. And we're going to supply the Windows admin password for SMB credentials, not SSH. SSH is not running on that Windows 2016 server. So all we got to do is 10.10.1.10. Start immediately. And then the SMB credentials, drop down, select the Windows admin that we provided earlier. Go and create this task and let it run.
Does everybody do start immediately or?
Well, yours is syncing, so you probably want to do not start
Okay.
yours. But I think everybody else that I see currently working has theirs synced and could start immediately now. So I'm going to create that task and it should run that into the background. While that's running, I want to check on, what was I checking on? So, okay. So this quick task that was the 4.9, the one against my Windows machine. That's going to get interesting. I should have named those tasks something different. They're both going to be called new quick task. I wonder if I can edit and rename. Yeah, I wonder if I can name this the Linux 37 or 28 or something. Does that edit that line? Or does that create a new one? Nope, that just edits that one line. Okay. So because I had two that were going to be called new quick task and make it kind of hard to differentiate between the two, the one that was done and complete against the Linux machine, I clicked the little paper with the pencil writing on it and gave it a new name and called it Linux 28 because my other address was .28. So both of them scanned the 10.10.128 address. That'll just make it easier if we're looking at this at a later time. But I did want to view the report on that, on the 4.9, and see what is 0.6 higher than what we had before. So there's 6 results this time instead of 2. That's because it was able to authenticate into the system and do some wider checks. One of them would probably be allowing root to log in remotely. That should be a concern. So the report's loading up. I got a question. How many of y'all created a Microsoft Azure student account in LAN 1?
We haven't got there yet.
So yeah, some are taking LAN 1 now. Some of y'all are on LAN 2 though.
I have one.
Okay. We'll use that later on in the semester. Okay, so missing kernel mitigations for something TAA, TSX, asynchronous abort hardware vulnerability. Another kernel mitigation that's not present. The 2 that were before, TCP timestamp and SSH weak keys are listed. And then I've got another 2 additional that are at a higher severity rating, still medium though. We're missing kernel mitigations for MDS, so microarchitectural data sampling hardware vulnerability. Probably has something to do with the Intel side channel exploits that's been happening. And then there's some type of ITLB multi-hit hardware vulnerability. I'm going to go ahead and click on the top one and just read. solution is to update the kernel that it says at the bottom. I'm going to click applications here. So 21 to 21 applications. Those are all the software that it detected on the system that it was able to scan. CentOS 8, 4 CVEs. So those are documentation of known exploits that it detected on the system. Okay, I'm gonna go back to scans. And the Windows scan is taking a while to run. However, one thing that you can do while it is scanning that I kind of like about the software, you can click on the report number. Kind of hard to get your mouse on it, especially if you're going remote on it. Click on the report number for that Windows scan, and it will load up the report and what that is found as it's going. So far, we don't have any vulnerabilities showing up that it's detected, and it's at 10% now. If one of these numbers starts to populate as it progresses across, and then you can click on the date and go in and view that particular vulnerability as it's found in real time. So Bethany's already found 2 on a medium. Severity is 6.9. That's quite a bit higher than what we originally had scanned without providing credentials to it. Okay, so mine's scanned and it's colorized. It's still only at 64%, but I noticed that it's colored something low. I can go ahead and click on the time and date. And that would let me look in real time here. Results. This low one, I'm sure, is the timestamp that it found earlier. Yep, so that's the TCP IP stamp that it found earlier. So kind of slow, but it is nice that you can see the reports even before that they're finished. So here's a big question. Has anybody tried to set this up and scan the computers at your house?
All I have is a laptop, and I try to put the virtual or Kali Linux on VirtualBox, but it bogged down my computer so slow that it's not worth it.
Ah, okay. Oh, I'm bumped up to the 4.3. Bethany found a 6.9. There's a 94%. Human interface device functionality over USB code execution vulnerability. Interesting. Go ahead and click on that and see what that is. This is installed with USB device driver software and is prone to code execution vulnerability. We may have found a new exploit type. Embed a virus into get one of those gamer keyboards that like upload firmware and stuff into it. Plug it into a computer and take over the computer. If you're smart enough. No solution or patch is made available for at least 1 year. Replace the product by another one. I think they're saying replace Windows with something else. It says the vendor is not going to fix it. I believe that's what that says. Bethany, did yours ever finish?
It just finished.
Okay. Did it find anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's 3 and 1 here. So one workaround is enable device filtering on target host to only allow trusted USB devices to be enabled automatically. So back in 2016, well, even prior to that, Children's Hospital had enabled that. I don't know how long that enabled that. It had been enabled for a while, where that you can't plug in an untrusted USB device, camera, or anything like that into a computer system. So any worker that got a new device that needed to be accessed via USB had to take it to the IT department, and they had to add signatures to it so it could be a trusted device on the network and what computers could access it. Otherwise, anybody with especially like a hospital, we got lots and lots of patients and public coming in and out of the public building, they would not be able to plug in any type of USB device and have it accessed unless it was pre-trusted by the network. So that mitigation's been there for a while. You simply don't let USB devices work unless you've got pre-authorized signatures on those devices. Has anybody worked at a place where you can't plug a USB in?
The military.
Military, yep. So Paul's seen it. Anybody else seen another place like that? I've seen Children's Hospital. Paul says the military.
And military working on a compound with secret internet.
It's a real big pain in the butt whenever we had to do EPRs though. We all had information on USB drives, then they're like, oh, no more.
Yeah. USB is so nice, but to get all that configuration so you can use USB devices. I was about to say, what about printing? But yeah, Children's Hospital, they didn't plug the printers in. They were all network printers, every one of them. They did not access the USB. Well, that's a good talking point for the rest of y'all that's either not worked in a place or maybe not had a job yet out there. That yes, USBs are definitely a big concern. Either keeping the device in the cabinet where you can't get access to USBs, or setting up software-based security where they're not allowed to be used.
You can disable the plug and plays for the computers.
Yeah. Lots and lots of heartache and removal of easiness because of hackers. Okay, well, maybe today we had a little bit of another look at some of the tools that not hackers use. Well, hackers can use it, but this here is more of a white hat look. We're using these to provide actual credentials, and we also seen, you know, if your black hat was using this, they would see less vulnerabilities. You know, 5.0, a 4.3 versus if you're an administrator, white hat person providing the scanner with credentials to authenticate and check even deeper into the system, we're come up with a 4.9 versus the 4.3. And then we've got a 6.7 that comes up versus a 5.0. So white hat, you're going to be able to see typically more because you do know the credentials and you can have it scanned deeper into the system. You can find local exploits and hardware exploits that you wouldn't necessarily be able to find just by remotely scanning. There wouldn't be a way to scan a hardware like USB across the network. You'd have to actually get into the OS to figure that part out. Okay, on Wednesday, we're going to lecture over stuff that was in basically chapter 1 and 2 of Test Out. And I think they even have some of the terms the scanner is using, like workaround and mitigate, and some other stuff that we need to cover. There's a whole bunch of terms we'll cover on Wednesday. Because if you got the terms down and understand what they mean, if you got to take a security certification, you'll definitely see all the terms that we're going to talk about multiple times on any certification exam that you take. And how are y'all doing in test out?
Good.
What's due this week? Is anything due this week?
Chapter 5, isn't it?
Looks like it. So chapter 5, it's due October 2nd. It says, what is chapter 5 over? Perimeter network. That's kind of a cool one. That's normally where we did our wireless hacking, is about this week. And next week, we've already done the wireless attack. So that should make some wireless defense, wireless overview. Should definitely make some good sense to you since we've already hacked the wireless. Yeah. Yeah, we're basically gonna have a nice discussion over 1 and 2 on Wednesday. Okay, that's all for today. If y'all need to do any work in your test out, you can use the last part of class for that. And I hope the scanner looks pretty good. I need to scan in some other classes, so maybe Friday or maybe the last half of Wednesday, we'll look at running some mitigations and rescanning to see if we can get those severity numbers down. I think we can probably get them lower on the Linux side. I don't know that we can get it lower on the Windows side because that the HID doesn't have a workaround for it.
Okay, we'll see you Wednesday.
All right.
Actually, well, tomorrow, actually.
See y'all either tomorrow or Wednesday.
Before you end this, did you find a